Hello, guys. Welcome to the fourth episode of the series that I launched a few weeks back, Polarizing Dialogue. And the topic we have for today is actually a lot more in line with the theme that I started the YouTube channel with. I had a lot of comments coming my way about how I was steering off from self-improvement content, so I thought I can just come in with a topic which is directly self-improvement, right? And yeah, let's just start off this session by just a quick question. Like, Saki, do you think self-improvement is like very essential for everyone,
I
and
would say,
and everything in between doesn't matter? You think it's important for everyone?
I think personally for me, it's very important. I believe in it completely. And in general, I feel like it depends a lot on what your priorities are, right? So if you want to get somewhere, if you want to be a better version of yourself, do things that you usually don't do, and, venture into undiscovered areas just to be challenged and get somewhere,
I
then I
understand.
think that if that is your priority, then obviously you should work on self improvement. But then there are a lot of people who are just constantly living the same life. They're content. They don't want too much from life. They are happy where they are. So for them, it might not matter as much. Maybe they think it's just hustle culture and there's just no point. So I would say it depends a lot on priorities. And for me, it is absolutely essential because uh, I am the kind of person who plans everything. So now I've taken this gap year. For those who all don't know, I have taken a gap year. I'm writing my law entrance exams, and in the meantime, there are a couple of skills that I decided to work upon. And making a podcast, in fact, was one of them because when you're in home for so long, no social interaction, nothing, you need some place to convey your thoughts, and you need some person to talk to. So this was an interesting platform, and that's primarily why I started making podcasts with you. But there are many things that I'm working on, and yeah, I think I'll constantly be in this pursuit of becoming the best version of myself. What do you think? I
Yeah,
think your
right. So
journey has been
that's
kind
a
of
surprise. We're doing this podcast because you needed someone to talk to. That's a
no.
surprise coming from you.
No, not like that, obviously. See, friends, general, all that bullshit, that keeps going on, right? But constructive conversations
I
with
understand. I
someone that you
understand.
can put out
Yeah, yeah,
and all of
yeah. I
that.
understand.
So yeah, that
Right.
was
So it's actually really interesting that you mentioned guys who are just content with how their life is. They
hmm.
just find hustle culture all cringe and all that. But I don't understand how people can be content with something that they didn't really work for. I mean, something is good I feel like something feels that much more pleasurable, and something is good only when something is bad. For people who just don't work towards anything and just don't earn anything, and mostly I'm targeting people who are born from rich families, but I mean, that's a huge rabbit hole that I don't want to go into, right? And if you don't earn anything yourself, I don't feel like you have the luxury, or I don't even know how, I don't even understand how you can sort one thing as good and one thing as bad. Now, coming back to the topic, self improvement. Self self improvement is absolutely necessary for guys, I feel, right? Because for guys, it's not an option. You have to start improving yourself as soon as you're 18. If at all you start improving yourself before that, well and good. But at least by 18, you should start getting your body in check. You should start focusing on your finances, your studies, every single thing. Because as far as I see it, a guy's value comes later down in life, right? And that's only if you start creating your value. Men, it has been, I think it has been shown through statistics and just looking at a bunch of celebrities and all the other people, that men peak later in life, like by the time they're 30, 35, and women kind of start peaking during the time of 23, 24, and they start going downhill. I'm not saying women just start getting uglier. I mean, they just become ugly by the age of 30. They just, their value and their kind of view of I mean, how people perceive them just goes down from 24 and above. For guys, I always preach this to guys all the time. Your value when you're 18 years old is zero. Like, it's absolutely nothing. So I kind of recommend people do not date, because you are kind of very replaceable. And if at all a person is dating you, that it's chances are they kind of date anybody. To stand out from the crowd, you obviously have to improve yourself. So your language has to be in check, your finances, your network has to be in check. So yeah, just to conclude my whole rant here, because I don't want to go on ranting too long again. I'm very notorious for doing that. Yeah, self-improvement, it's like a bonus if girls do it. Well and good, amazing, right? But for guys, I just don't see it as any other option. It's kind of a necessity. You have to do it. What do you think about that?
I mean, okay, so I feel like the society is changing, and every girl watching this, I would definitely say that work on yourself, and you're also improving your value, like you call high quality women. And I want all of them to raise their standards so that they don't settle for anyone. So yeah, self improvement, absolutely essential. And for what were you saying about the people who are in their, say, 30s and 40s, and they've done enough in life, and they're now settled and they're content, and their life is like completely constant? What would you want, an early retirement, or would you want to
Early
just
retirement is greatly misunderstood in the world right now. The people who retire early or retire early, they don't retire, as in they don't stop working. They just stop working as much as they did when they were, I don't know, 20, 21, building the base of their entire career. People don't realize the people who have retired, most of them who are like millionaires and they've retired very early on in their career and in their life, they still do enough work, or they still work as hard, or they still work that much more harder than you do on a very productive day, right? And these people who just, they have priorities, and after one point in time they just think, I mean, at one point in time you just have so much amount of money that all you have to do at that point is just scale it. But still, scaling is not as easy as just people make it seem. But scaling is definitely that much more easier for these millionaires who have like completely worked their ass off, like 17, 18 hours, 18-hour weeks. So at that point it's just like, who cares? But still, it doesn't mean, retirement doesn't mean just completely stopping all kind of work in your life or in just your day. It just means the work is just lower. But yeah, most of the entrepreneurs who have like retired, they still do that much amount of work compared to all the teenagers or all the people who are just watching, who all the teenagers who are just wishing to just be like those people, and they think early retirement means just going to a beach and chilling. Okay, that will be part of it, but they don't realize that even in the beach they'll be thinking about something. They'll have a laptop and all of those things. You have to constantly be working towards something. I don't think there is an end destination with self improvement, and that kind of ties back, right? That kind of ties back very nicely to the second question, which is self improvement. It kind of stems from the fact that you're not good enough, right? If you're not good enough, there is a necessity to improve yourself. Can people just exist, right? Just exist and be good enough? What do you think?
I mean, that can be an option. Again, I said it's so much about priorities. And like you said, early retirement does not necessarily mean that you stop working. That is there, but in so many cases, people have just, in terms of early retirement or retirement in general, they've just earned enough. They have financial freedom to focus on the things that they hadn't focused on previously, right? So maybe they learn a new sport, they get a new skill, they have enough money, they can just have fun in life, do new things and explore and discover and all of that. So that is also a part. I mean, I wouldn't want to be completely productive and completely working 24/7 all my life, because I want that to be an aspect of it. That's it. I like, it's an unpopular opinion, I think, but I like a 9 to 5 job, because then I have the mornings to myself, I have the evenings to myself. I am balancing both life and work, right? So that's the kind of life I would want. And for me, yeah, I said it's about priorities. Why? What do you think? Are you like the kind of guy who would just work your ass off 24/7 till you're about 30, and then slow down a little bit and then focus on other things? What do you think you are like?
Yeah, I do have plans to do that, but slowing down, my definition of slowing down is will vary from all the other people, right? And yeah, see, it was interesting that you said the point about 9 to 5. I'll come back to that after stating what I actually want. I actually don't mind like working the entire day. If at all, it means that I can live every single week of the day as a Sunday. So basically, I decide what to do. I decide if I want to work in the morning or not. Obviously, I'll decide to do it, but it's still a choice in my kind of the kind of field that I'm in. Coming back to the point you were making about 9 to 5, you have the mornings to yourself, okay. But what I have observed in a lot of people who have a 9 to 5 is that from 9 to 5, 9 to 5 is a shift. But most of the people who are in higher levels of work, it's not a 9 to 5, it's basically 9 to 6, 9 to 7, 9 to 8, 9 to 9. And in finance there is no timings. That's a popular saying that if
Exactly.
you're in finance, there is no timings. You're just constantly working every single second of the day. Even though you're only working 9 to 5, don't you think you'll be mentally checked out from everything that you want to do after the work for at least 2 hours?
I mean, that could be a possibility, but at least I have the freedom to do what I want for the rest of the day. Yeah, like you said, flexibility, everybody wants flexibility. But I'm the kind of person, if I'm obligated to do something, yes, 9 to 5, you're supposed to work and work and only work. And if you compare it with the option that, I'd have, I can make choices if I want to, if I want to work in the morning or night. I think the former would work better for me, because if I'm obligated to do something, then I would do that to my best of capacity. And yeah, in certain industries, it's not. My brother's in private equity. He leaves home by 9, comes at 11, 12, and yeah, so that's a problem. So what was your question again, though? I'm just saying random stuff.
Yeah. My question was, when you are working from 9 to 5, right? And you do come home at 5 o'clock, let's just assume you come home at 5 o'clock. Won't you be at least mentally checked out for leave 2 hours, an hour, and basically, okay, 9 to 6? How long are you willing to stay awake after that? And then repeat the same thing again the next day. So you basically only have 3 to 4 hours of leisure time. Is that enough for you?
I think that would be, see, it's a personal thing, it differs for
Hmm.
everyone. But I mean, not necessarily. I might think of my work, I might not, but at least I have that time to myself. So, what would you like? I mean, I don't get it why you asked this question.
Yeah,
What?
yeah, the question was because one of my horrors is studying relentlessly for a degree, or studying relentlessly for a to become a chartered accountant, to become an MBA student in IIM. Okay, and after that getting a job, and then like being glued to work for days on end, like 9 to 10, like your brother, like how you mentioned about your brother. It actually hurt me a little bit, and it actually made me scared. So imagine going and fighting, I mean, going and giving your heart and soul to become a CA, and then after you become a CA, just more work on top of that. I feel like there is no end to living like this, which is why I so badly want to become an entrepreneur and become a businessman. It's just to create time freedom and location freedom, and the freedom of choice, like to do whatever I want. I am prepared to work 17, 18 hours a day. I'm prepared to do that. I am prepared to not go out. I'm prepared to just not indulge in the regular fun activities in college, as people say. I mean, people always come and say to me, I mean, if you're always working like how you are, you'll kind of miss out on college life. But part of that is true. I agree. Like, part of that is true when I am choosing work over not engaging in fun college activities that I can only experience in college. Sure, I'm missing out on college a little bit, but that just puts me that much ahead of the competition, and that just means I can retire early. And when I am missing out on college life, they're kind of missing out on late adult life, and kind of the period where you fully peak as a man, and I want to completely experience it. And when I say the fact that they fully peak as a man, I'm not specifically talking about just females, or I'm just not specifically talking about cars or watches. Just the freedom of being able, it's just looking at everything without a price tag. The freedom of being able to provide for your family, or provide for anyone that you care about, whatever they want. The feeling of just always having an abundance of money. Yeah, that kind of freedom, I think every guy seeks it, to be honest. That kind of freedom, I mean, if any guy had two choices, a successful company you have or a successful firm, I don't think anyone would choose voluntarily choose to work in a 9 to 5. Because what 9 to 5 means, basically what 9 to 5 means is that you're working under someone. That's what a 9 to 5 means. When someone refers to a 9 to 5, it's not that necessarily I don't necessarily mind working under someone. But after a period of time, when you're just getting milked for the last amount of value for the organization, it just kind of translates to you working more than what you actually need to work for, like you need to work for more hours. That's what I mean. So yeah, that's just basically what I think about the whole situation. It kind of kind of saddens me when people are just sitting there and they're like telling me I like a 9 to 5 job and all that, and then they kind of tell me that, oh, it gives me the freedom of just looking after my day after coming back. It kind of saddens me because a lot, I know a lot of people have said this, and a lot of people are like, yeah, I have absolutely no time, because 9 to 5, it's absolutely stressful. I'm not taking away from the fact that how stressful it is. I don't think when you come back home you'll have the mental energy to spend time with your family or spend time with yourself or do things that you like. My brother especially, he's working from home, and even that is a 9 to 5 basically. And you're having a let's cut that out. I don't want my brother to see this too much. uh, he's working a 9 to 5, and his sleep, his habits, his eating habits are just all over the place. He sleeps at somewhere around 1 2, and I don't necessarily blame him. He's like, after working till 10 o'clock, 11 o'clock, he's like, his friends are basically, some of them are from Canada and all of those things. So he spends time with them during the night. They play Warzone or they play some game together. You absolutely earned it, of course. But the kind of situation that you're in, you have to wake up tomorrow at 6:30 again. Sadly, that's just the state of your life. When you have to wake up at 6:30 again tomorrow, do you think it's that optimal for you to sit and play video games at 11? It hurts me to say it, but you should be going to bed. Sadly, I mean, you finish working, you have to be in bed to just prepare for the same day tomorrow, and it kind of becomes a cycle that you just start to hate. Yes, and what did I even work for? I i worked that relentlessly and hard just to become a 9 to 5 person with absolutely no freedom. So basically, I see. What do you think about it, Saki? I'll provide my later points after you speak a little bit, because I think I'll get a lot of heat for this as well for speaking too much. So, what do you think?
Well, I think I see that aspect that you said. I 100% agree with that. If I have a particular goal I want to work towards, so I'm preparing for an exam, or I'm working on a startup with my brother, we're just coming up with something new, creating something new, I would give my 100%, even if that means compromising on things that I usually enjoy doing, right? Because I think I'm the kind of person who wants everything in moderation, but cannot stick to one thing for a long time. And that kind of a person. But if I have something concrete to work towards, then I would definitely give in my everything. And yeah, I would, because the end result, it's going to be worth it, and we all know that. So that aspect I agree with. And the thing that you said about missing out on college life, that also I can relate with. Because if, again, if I am working towards something that's more, that would be worth more than missing out on all this, I would do that. 100% I would do that. And yeah, then it just becomes a loop. When I said 9 to 5, I meant, when you, I can say this because I don't know if I should say, I can say this because I already have financial freedom, and I always will, because of my background, because of everything. And because yeah, I am also becoming something, so I'm going to earn at least something, right? I'll have a degree and all of that.
When people when people mention the term financial freedom, I think what they actually want and what most people want is time freedom. I believe this is what most people want. Time freedom, in most cases, will only come after financial freedom. With enough money, you can buy time. When
Mm,
you are generating enough revenue, you can hire people to do the same thing that you're doing, right? And you have free time. You have that free time, which you can call time freedom, right? Just an
mm,
example of time freedom. This is not what time freedom is, but just as you said, financial freedom and about your background, that is something about being financially free just on your own that is just so liberating, and that is just so, how do I put this? I cannot even put this in
that's
words.
true.
That's like a separate feeling. Just knowing every single penny that you earned came from everything that you worked for. Which is why this ties back beautifully. A lot of self-made millionaires who brag that much have a lot of fan base. They're a lot. They are very cocky. They brag so much about this diamond watch, this diamond chain that they're wearing, this shoe that costs more than what an average employee earns an entire year. When they brag about all that, they still have fans hyping them up. Why? Because they earned every single penny of it. Right? They earned their right to brag about it. This is why when I see people in comment sections of these millionaires who are like, I have this diamond watch, they're flexing. A self-made millionaire. I'm not telling you flexing is good or flexing is bad or whatever. But when you're typing in YouTube comments about a guy who's a self-made millionaire, so he earned his first million when he was 18 and all. When you're typing in the comments saying, "Oh, but this guy is always bragging," I mean, All this guy has to do is brag. And where is your Rolex watch exactly? Like, I mean, no Rolex watch, no opinion. And see, I'm not talking about the people who buy all this with their parents' money. That's a completely different topic. At that point, all the hate is justified. I mean, oh, this guy's always flexing. It's not even your money. You're like a trust fund baby. All of that is justified. But for people who just come from the ground up, I have so much respect for them that they can literally say anything. They can literally say anything, and still I'll be looking for that positive aspect as to why they said it. The person can just sit there and tell me that if I wanted to, I can steal your girlfriend right now, and I'll be thinking of why they said it, as opposed to just some random brokey saying, "Or can you?" Then I'll start looking for ways to fight. I'm going a little bit away from topic, but
Right.
the point is coming back to 9 to 5, right? When you're building a business, something that you said, it's just when you have something concrete to work towards. I think that's the freedom itself. People, the majority of the reason, the most of the reason why people opt to work in a 9 to 5 is that the income at the end of the month, it's guaranteed. You have something concrete that you're working towards. When it is a startup, when you are an entrepreneur, the concrete thing that you're working towards is not guaranteed.
Mm.
So to a 9 to 5, you can just work tirelessly from 9 to 8 or 9 p.m. at night, and then hope, and then you'll just know that you'll get paid at the end of the month. But when it comes to entrepreneurship, it's different. Which is why I don't think people don't become entrepreneurs because they lack ideas. It's just that they lack the courage to do something for 17 hours, regardless of the outcome being unlikely, right? And that is when again entrepreneurs have bunch of minus. This is just me just admiring entrepreneurs and just admiring all self-made people, to be honest. And this is
Makes
not to
sense
shit on
because
people. This is
mm,
not to just look down on people who are working in a 9 to 5. I'm not. That's not my intention. But just my intention is people who are just living in the extremes just interest me so much more, and I want to live in extremes as well.
yeah, that's true. That makes sense. I agree with you. And we're majorly talking about just money, but when you get there, when you're putting in the work and you are actually seeing results, you're so proud of yourself. So you're looking for more than just money or more than just the outcome. You're just so proud of yourself. You read that in school we learned Maslow's hierarchy of needs, and
Me,
on
Maslow's
top of
hierarchy
it
of needs.
was self actualization, and I completely believe in that, because at the end of the day we're all looking for just that. And yeah, this and there was one more thing that I think can become a very good potential topic for us, and that can be spirituality and all of that, and why people choose to be spiritual, because that also leads to something that we normal people cannot experience. So that was about.
Spirituality is a beautiful topic, yeah. Spirituality is actually a beautiful topic, but the problem is I don't think we'll get a lot of views on it. We'll still post it. Obviously, we're mostly posting things which we can talk about, which is like that much more engaging for people who actually listen. We cannot just make all the topics that much more engaging for the audience. We have to produce content which is a little more towards the educational side as well, which is frankly not that interesting, right? But yeah, spirituality, amazing that you mentioned. I, yeah, I'm not even gonna start on spirituality. I'll just save that. I'll just save that for the specific video that we're recording. But yeah, entrepreneurship, and yeah, I can just keep on talking about CAs and MBAs, man. Like, I feel so bad for these people because they work so hard. So there is this friend of mine, Ananda Padmanabhan, he also watches my videos. So thank you for watching my videos. He wakes up at 2:30. He used to wake up at 2:30 in the morning to study for CA. And he used to study and go about his day till 11 o'clock at night. And then he used to repeat the same thing again. My only problem with hearing all this is because, see, you have all these efforts. What if you put all these efforts in and you become a CA and you become obviously very successful, but you end up in a 9 to 10? At that point, some people just start to regret why they even work that much hard. And most people will actually start thinking that if I actually worked that hard on like a startup, maybe I would have that much more freedom and that much more happiness than what I have right now. But people just get lost in that concrete outcome, or the predictable outcome, or concrete reward that they'll get from the classic 9 to 5 route, that they don't even explore entrepreneurship. And rightfully so, entrepreneurship is very scary to even think about. Yeah, you look
I
like you
feel
have
like
something to say.
yeah, I feel like whoever has taken a degree that's, you know, the degree itself is concrete, like chartered accountancy, LLB you do, or you do medicine, and they've successfully completed it. I feel like nobody would regret doing that because they have such a strong foundation behind them. You know, it's up to them to take up entrepreneurship. People prefer it, most people don't, but they have such a strong foundation. Now imagine someone, okay, in a college, he's doing BCom or BBA or some degree like that, and nothing else, is doing this, having all the fun, college life, friends, and every aspect of his life, fun and all of that. And then he goes on to become an entrepreneur, and so many failures. Yeah, he witnesses so many things. He fails, he comes back, because there are so many startups that, start, and people give up in between. Most people give up, come back, and at least if you're a CA, if you have a solid degree like that one, you will always get a job that will pay you enough to, sustain yourself, your family, your needs. You're never not going to worry about money. So
Yeah, but
yeah,
yeah,
that's a risky route, but just going for entrepreneurship or things like that, it's a risky route. But when you have a solid base, then I think nobody would
yeah, the
regret.
problem with having a solid base, the problem with people, the reason I say that people actually kind of regret having a CA degree is, even if they want to become an entrepreneur, they won't try as hard as a person who doesn't have anything. If you have a CA degree, if something's not working for like a week, you're like, fuck this, I'm out. And what's the point of this? I can just go and work for someone and 9 to 5. Obviously, I'll get paid. Why am I bothering putting all my time and energy into something which is not even serving me? Fail to realize that in 1 week nothing changes. And it's actually very painful to put that much amount of work in and still see no progress or still see no kind of rewards stemming from it. Entrepreneurs, the most successful entrepreneurs, have this amazing skill of not attaching all the efforts to an outcome, or rather of like attaching all the efforts towards a long-term goal, or of attaching all their efforts to just the passion of doing it. Some people are just absolute psychos, and I think I'm also a psycho in this way, right? A little bit of a psycho. People, to get a six pack is actually very hard, right? Obviously, to get a six pack, like abs are like one of the most worst muscles to train. But most people get lost in just training to get that abs, to get six packs. But I'm a psycho this way, that like I work that much harder, and like I enjoy the pain that much more. I love doing abs because that pain just feels so good. If you actually take what I just said right now out of context, you won't understand if it's coming from a normal person who's talking about entrepreneurship and abs, or whether it's coming from a drug addict who's talking about all the pain that this certain drug is giving him. But yeah, part of being an entrepreneur and part of living on the edge is kind of growing accustomed to the pain, and knowing that pain is that single most important thing that is like a key to a world which is that much more brighter on the other side of the door. We had an amazing time, guys. Sorry if a little bit of what we discussed were a little redundant, or rather a little bit repetitive from the other videos. But I just feel like when we just get on to talk about entrepreneurship, our polarizing views coming together, it's kind of a beautiful thing to see and beautiful thing to actually listen to. And I mean, I obviously have fun discussing all these topics with Sakhi, and so I hope you guys also have equal amounts of enjoyment and you guys learn something after watching our videos. If anything, if at all you guys have any kind of suggestions or anything in general, any video topics or anything that you guys want to touch upon, kindly do let me or Sakhi know. Obviously, if you're telling Sakhi, be diplomatic. I tell this in every kind of video.
No.
Or leave it in the comments. Like the video if you liked it, and subscribe if you want to see more videos like this coming your way. And Sakhi, do you have any closing thoughts?
I just had a lot of fun, and I have a lot of potential, topic for our videos. And this fitness and all of this can be one of that. It will be super. It will be amazing. So yeah, we'll
Yeah,
come up with more
just
such
we're just talking
topics.
about,
And yeah, go on, finish it.
yeah, just talking about sub niches, right? Within fitness, what are the sub niches,
Yeah,
and then
yeah, for sure.
within entrepreneurship sub niches. So, hey guys, like, thank you guys for watching, and see ya.